Hello, welcome back to the Chelsea debate. And unfortunately, we've just lost 5-2 to West Brom. So, not really planned how we're going to do this, but we're just going to give our reaction to it. Josh, you've watched that with me. Shocking. Just sum that up.
No, terrible, isn't it? It really, really terrible. It was a good opportunity to put some distance between us and fifth place. I thought I'd really try and grab a hold of the Champions League place, but just wasted it. And to be honest, worse than that, I could sort of took a bad result. But I thought the performance was terrible. You know, the things that we've been singing about the last sort of couple of months under Tuchel, we just, the defensive stability had just gone. You look at some of the goals we conceded, and even the chances that West Brom had sort of earlier on, it was just poor, just really poor. Like, yeah, I can't even put it into words how bad that actually was.
Yeah, we conceded 8 goals in 2 games against West Brom. They took 4 points off of us. And like you say, we've not opened the gap. And after Monday night, after West Ham play, we could actually be 6th in the table, depending on how Spurs and West Ham do. I'm pretty sure I'll have to check the goal difference. Right, seems a million miles away now. We went in front though, 1-0. Christian Pulisic with the goal. It was Alonso free kick, and this isn't going to be a positive video, but he did well to chase it in, didn't he, and put it away.
Yeah, no, I thought that was actually a bright start, wasn't it? You know, we've been talking about Pulisic and his form recently. We did a recent video highlighting him, and I was glad to see, he'd done well for USA in the international break. And I thought, oh, that's good. Hopefully, he'll bring that back, and it looks like he did. In a team that played terribly today, I did think he was probably sort of best of the worst. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but
Yeah.
no, he was a positive, and it was nice to see him get that goal, especially on a rebound. I like a goal like that because it shows the sort of instinct, doesn't it?
Yeah, he did well to chase it in. I will say, in the first, that came after just 25 minutes. Something didn't seem right with our passing today, and we'll get onto it because that's what cost us. But when we went ahead, you sort of thought, okay, we'll calm down now. We got the goal, and we'll be a bit more, calm and stable at the back. A couple of minutes later, Thiago Silva is sent off for a second yellow card. Now, I've got to talk a couple of incidents with this because, first of all, we got a yellow card for pulling a player back, and there was a mistake in the build-up, so that's why he had to do it. And then the second one, you saw it, didn't he? He went in for a challenge, and at the end of the day, he's trying to block it, but it's one of those where he's even turned away. He's then caught the man after, and the referee stood about 2 yards away. He couldn't really miss it. So, the 2 yellow cards for you?
Probably, yeah. It's hard to, as fans, we want to sort of try and defend the players, but certainly a player of his experience, you would sort of, as you said, the referee stood sort of 2 yards away. It's hard, he's not going to ignore that, and he can't, can he? So, yeah, you expect better. I know he's coming back after a little bit of a layoff, so there might be a little bit of rust there, but a player of that quality, he can't be making those mistakes for me.
Yeah, but the thing that's annoying with it is that beforehand, we should have had a penalty if you're going to apply the same rules to how Thiago Silva get off. Timo Werner to the line, I'll get onto him. But challenged in the box, one of those where the ball had gone.
Yeah.
And then he's caught the man. Clearly, he's caught him on the ankle. We didn't get up straight away. Now, that's exactly what's happened with Thiago Silva. The ball's gone and he's caught the man. Now, for me, it's either they're both fouls or neither of them are. I mean, I wouldn't mind if neither are because otherwise you're going to give them all the time. But if you're applying that logic, that's a penalty.
No, I agree. But I think that's the issue now with sort of football in general. The last sort of couple of years since VAR came in, it's made every decision a grey area, and things that for years we've taken as a given, like that's a penalty, that's an offside, or that's a handball. All of a sudden now they've muddied the waters, and that's the thing. Now for me, all it's actually done successfully is create a grey area and create a lack of consistency. And I think that's, we've been the victim both sides there, haven't we, today? Because Silva's been sent off and we didn't get a penalty the other end. So it sort of affected us doubly today. And yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, we should have had a penalty with Werner. But there is also an argument, and not that I'm all for it, but Werner can see the man coming in for the challenge. Perhaps he keeps holding the ball a second. Do you know what I mean? We saw Harry Kane play that sort of game quite tactically recently, and it worked. So I don't know. I just think with the way everything's been set up now, you're asking for problems, and you're sort of almost encouraging players to play a bit dirty, aren't you?
Yeah. Even when it went down to 10 men, we weren't playing well, but I sort of thought, look, we can still get a result out of this. I don't know if you felt the same, but this is our channel, so we're going to talk about Chelsea. Fair play to West Brom, though, because they scored 5 goals at the Bridge, and to be fair, Mendy, you couldn't really criticise him a lot today. There were some really good finishes in there. What's frustrating, though, they scored 2 goals in stoppage time of the first half. So if you can get in at half time, 1-0, maybe you can make a few tweaks. But next thing you know, Pereira, I'm pretty sure, got both of the goals. Really sloppy defending, giving the ball away. I don't know what was going on today.
Well, the first goal, right, and don't get me wrong, Mendy was a bit powerless on certain things that happened today. But the first goal, what was he doing? He was in no man's land for me. If you're coming out, come out, or stay on your line. Instead, he came into the middle and then just sort of watched the ball go over him. I don't know about you, I was pulling my hair out at that. Zuma should have, the defence should have been tighter. I appreciate, and perhaps, Mendy would argue he should have had more coverage off his defenders, but he didn't. And as a goalkeeper, he just sort of put himself in no man's land, and that created the goal for me. I was fuming with that goal. Everything that we've sung about under Tuchel, all the stability, it just completely neglected us today. We looked unsure at the back again, and just the tempo wasn't there. It was just terrible, absolutely fuming. And like you say, to concede 2 goals, you've gone in from a position of we can probably grind a result out to within a couple of minutes, we're now chasing a game against a team that are going to be going down.
Yeah, that first goal was a good point. It was difficult for the defenders because we're trying to get out. Sam Johnston set the goal up. That sort of sums up the sort of day we've had. It's gone over. A ball straight over the top. It's difficult for Mendy. It was tough. The second one is a good finish, but he sold all 3 of our defenders. Went for that dummy, and he sold them all, and then he's put it away in the bottom corner. Second half. Pulisic coming off. Mount came on and did well, but I don't think he should have come off. I don't know. Do you agree?
No, I agree. I thought Pulisic was one of the as I said earlier, I think he's probably, one of the brighter sparks in the team. So I wouldn't have took him off. But I'm all for Mount coming on, rewarded with the goal later on. So yeah. I don't know. Today's just an absolute disaster. I'm trying so hard to think of a positive. I'm really struggling.
Yeah, Mount did score, but we were 3-1 down before. Callum Robinson. What is it with us? Because David McGoldrick turns into Pele against us, and Callum Robinson scored 2 today. I honestly don't know. It was a brilliant finish, actually. The first one, it was on the volley. It came to him sort of on the edge of the box, and they did a bit of analysis on it in terms of Mount maybe not tracking back as much, but we're missing. I think as they looked at it, Jorginho was pulled out wide. Our formation, we're a man down, weren't we? We're sort of pushing. It was a great finish. He scored. We got a goal back. That's sort of the positive. It came to Werner, and he took a touch, and then Mount put it into an empty net. And we'll just run through Diagne. Sorry, I actually butchered that pronunciation. He scored. Robinson got a second. 5-2. Boom. I don't want to talk about the rest of the goals. Timo Werner, though, for me, I hate doing this. We even have done previous episodes when we've sort of been upbeat about him. I'm not having it today, though.
No, I agree, mate. We've been massive supporters of him, on our social media channels, Instagram and Twitter. We've both sort of been advocates of him, both said give him time. We've done videos on here highlighting, his strengths and the fact that while the goals aren't necessarily flowing, he's getting assists, his overall play is good, his work rate's good. But I'm at the point now where there needs to be some end product. There needs to be goals. We spent a lot of money on him, came here with a big reputation. And to be looking bad against a West Brom side that's been, let's be honest, they've been woeful at times this season. I know they took 4 points off us, But as a whole, they're not a good Premier League side. They're, as individuals, that again, they're not the best. And no disrespect, I mean, they've done a number on us today. But Timo Werner should be. You look at strikers we've had in the past. Like, if that was the likes of Didier Drogba today, he'd be thinking, "I'll get a couple of goals here today." Do you know what I mean? And as a fan, you'd be backing that. You just don't get that with Werner. Terrible today. I mean, Porto next. I think he needs dropping for that.
Yeah, I agree. He set the goal up, so there's that. But for me, the biggest frustration, he gets in the position 1-on-1 before he signed. When we were talking about him, I'm like, brilliant, get him in that scenario, boom, knock it. He's like a FIFA player though. He's trying to knock the ball, and there's no skill to it. I know he's quick, but I mean, Ivanovic, it was nice to see him. He came on for 10 minutes, went off injured. He stayed with him for a 40-yard race. If he's not got his pace, I don't know what he's offering. I don't want to hammer him, but there was that miss with Germany. It's just not happening right now, and it's really crucial to see how the manager sort of deals with him one-to-one. You don't want to crush him, but he'll know. He's a shadow of the player that in terms of his finishing.
Now I think we should deal with it. Get one of these meetings with Haaland's agent. There you go. Now that's how I think we deal with that.
That's not happening. But Aguero, there's a report, so I think let's do a video on Aguero.
Yeah, definitely.
There's that. Maybe Havertz to come in. The other thing, we'll wrap it up in a minute because I'm just fed up, to be honest, and I don't want to. I've got more football-related work today, and I just don't want to write about it. But I've got it. I'm just fed up. What did you make of Christensen, not Stein? Because that was the thing that stood out for me. I get it's easy. I'm not just saying this from a point like, oh, Thiago Silva came in and got the red card. I'm genuinely not doing that. I was going to mention it before the result. What did you make of that? Because that was the one that stood out.
I don't know, it's hard, isn't it? And we have talked about this briefly. Christensen's come in with Thiago Silva's injury, and he's looked brilliant, hasn't he? He really has. Silva's then back. Silva's had a great season up until his injury, obviously. So it was always going to be hard. I did think, to be fair, players coming back up international break, there might be a little bit of a shake-up. Tuchel's not been afraid to do that, has he? He has mixed it up for various games. But I mean, now, obviously, hindsight, it was a mistake because Silva's come in and got a red card. But when the team was announced, in fairness, I did think it might not be a bad shout. I thought a nice, easy game for Silva to get himself back, get his eye back in, give Christensen a little rest, and then go from there.
I think they were going to play Silva against Porto. That's why they were going to give him an hour today. Yeah, anyway, we'll talk about that probably in our preview for Porto. Just got to mention Jorginho today. Shocking, really bad, which is annoying because he's sort of come into form. And what's even more worrying is that Kante can't play against. I don't think he's going to be back in time, the manager said. So that is a worry, isn't it? Like, can basically, we'll wrap up the video, but can you just, let's wipe a clean slate under that, because this is such a big game against Porto. Can he just erase that from the player's mind and just say, look, we're going to get rid of that and we've got to bounce back? Can the manager do that?
Well, we're about to find out, aren't we? I'd like to say yes. Obviously, there has been sort of accusations in the past, his previous clubs, of him struggling to manage a dressing room. So we'll see. But he's got to, especially with that result now, you've just massively weakened the position of top four. So it makes the Porto games bigger, doesn't it? Because all of a sudden, if we want Champions League football next year, we're in for a real battle to get into the top four in the Premier League. So I don't know, maybe is it going to end up looking like winning the bloody Champions League's the best bet for it? So it's a huge game, and we'll see what he's made of now. It's been all good. Everyone's been singing Tuchel's praises. So I am interested to see how it all bounces back. We always knew a loss would come. No manager's going to stay unbeaten forever. But to lose to West Brom so badly, and the performance, it's just the players have got to look at themselves in time for Porto for me.
We will get spanked by Porto if we play anything like that. But his first defeat, and that was going to come at some point. So Yeah, we'll try and be positive on the channel. I'm sorry that was our first sort of, really bad results as we actually started making it. That says how well we've been doing in the last couple of months. But big reality check, and I do expect the lights. Maybe Havertz to come into the team. Hudson-Odoi could be back in. Mount will start. Maybe we'll have. Rudiger could come back in. He can definitely make changes, and we'll see that. But yeah, we'll do a preview for Porto. And thanks for all the support on the channel, regardless of today. Follow us on Twitter at Chelsea_debate and on Instagram, _Chelsea_debate. But until next time, cheers, guys.
Thank you.